You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, and you can see it was down 3 big points today, as the market is, cautious ahead of earnings season and some inflation data. Earnings is going to tell us a lot, especially the comments about forward guidance. Anyway, the Nasdaq is still above its 10 EMA and 1.8% above the 21, so it's trending in the right direction. It's in an uptrend, making higher lows, and it just kind of paused here after this is the first quarter. Last week was the first week of the second quarter, and it saw some profit taking, bounce a little bit on Thursday, and then after the 3-day weekend, it came back and was just essentially flat today. Anyway, we've got to take a look at some of the stocks that are moving the market, and one is Apple, because of the report that PC sales had slowed, and Apple was target here, and it was down 1.6%. I think they rely mostly on iPhones, but definitely not a positive report for Apple. Another stock that moves the needle here on the indexes is Google, and it was just down 1.8% today. Microsoft as well. Looks like it traded down to its 10. It was essentially flat on the day, down 0.76%, and a little inside day there for Microsoft. Anyway, I get tired of looking at those big stocks. I want to take a look at the semiconductor stocks. There's a report from Taiwan Semi that, they had a bad results, bad quarter, but money kept flowing into the semiconductor stocks after taking the week off last week. And and the NVDA was up 2%. I heard people was talking about NVIDIA is too rich and it's got to come down. Well, this stock is in an uptrend, and it might be expensive or whatever. But if you're going to short a stock, I prefer stuff like this, where it had this massive sell-off. This is DocuSign, and now it takes weeks and weeks and weeks, and it can't even rally back up to its 50, and this just looks like a weak stock, and you can see there's no volume here as it tries to rally back from that sell-off. Anyway, I digress. It just bugs me when people want to short strong stocks. Why not short their weak ones? Just makes sense to me. Anyway, I want to take a look at some of the semiconductor stocks. There was NVIDIA was one. AMD didn't seem too bothered by Taiwan Semi's news, as it bounced off its 21 here, and as now it's 2.4% above the 21. Just, it broke out of this base and then went up to 100 and got kind of rejected there. It's having trouble with the 100 number, pulled back to the 21 and found support. So AMD's doing nothing wrong. There's no sell signs for me. It's just not doing much either. It's just kind of going sideways. This is Allegro, traded down to its 50, found support, bounced today 2.5% on lighter volume. Like I say, the market's cautious, and you're not going to see a lot of big moves unless there's some real news out there. And here's RMBS bouncing off its 10 here. This is another strong semiconductor stock. You can see the volume here was pretty strong in RMBS today. So nice move, 30%, 35% above its average daily volume. So good for the RMBS longs. Congrats, doing well. This is Lattice. This one broke out of a base and ripped higher, and it's just minding its moving averages, traded down to its 50. And found support, was up 2.5% today. ACLS, we talked about this one, how it traded down to its 50. We're waiting for it to get support. 1.5% move, decent volume. So the semiconductors look pretty good. After taking a week off, you can see these 4 days. The first week of the second quarter saw some profit taking after they were up so much in January, February, and March. That stands to reason that you're going to take profits in this tape. Let's go to the retail stocks. CROX here. All the empirical, statistical, anecdotal data that I can scrounge up points to a blowout quarter for CROX. I think that Piper Sandler teen survey showed CROX and Hey Dudes are popular with the teens too. This one just bounced off its 50 today. It is near what I would consider a buy point, although it's just in consolidation here between earnings. They have earnings, May 4th, so it's coming up The CEO, they had a presentation at the UBS retail conference, and the CEO was being conservative. And actually, the CFO said that sales were better than expected in Q1, which is code for we're going to crush earnings. So I got a good entry on this one. I'm just going to hold it, try to hold it for a year and see if, this one can really appreciate. I believe, if it had Decker's or ON Holdings multiple, this thing would be a $200, $250 stock, but it's not. So it's got a P of 11, market cap of less than 8 billion, and it had 3.65 billion in sales last year. So anyway, enough on CROX. I think it's going to do well. Of course, on Holdings, I mentioned this one. Let's look at the weekly here. Had this massive move, this 46% move, had this like short stroke week, and then last week had this like bearish engulfing candle, but today came on pretty strong. It was up 3.5%, and to me, this thing, it's just got momentum. It's probably out of Decker's, CROX, and On Holdings, this one has the most momentum. Will probably perform best in the short term. ELF is another retail play that is just trending higher. What can you say? I mean, this thing just gaps up on earnings, forms these little shelves. Now it's just trending higher and it's finding support at its moving averages. ELF made a new high today. I think it was 84.42 was the new high. Yeah, 84.42. So good for the ELF longs, and it's now 65% above its 200 simple moving average, and it looks like it's comfortable trading between 60 and 65% above the 200. So good for ELF. One stock in retail that I must mention is COCO. My friend on Twitter, she's always saying, "Don't forget about COCO. Don't forget about COCO." It's a product that I do use for protein shakes, and this thing is making new highs. And this is a trend trader's dream, a breakout and trending above its moving averages. You gotta love COCO. And Texas Roadhouse, this is my last retail stock for the evening. This is a retail restaurant. People are dining out, going out, and enjoying life. And this one is made a new high today and is just trending higher. This is what a trend trader likes, right? Breakout and just trending higher with its moving averages. So good for the Texas Roadhouse longs. Anyway, let's go to the drugs. I like drugs. Not really. I'm sober as a judge. Anyway, this is TGTX, and this thing broke out today on news from Cantor Fitzgerald's analysts. It said that the new drug Briumvi was having strong sales, stronger than expected sales. So yeah, 22% move, not bad. Up and after hours as well. So, but to me, I mean, it made this high at 99.15. Had a lot of momentum, probably a lot of shorts in here after the news that it got approved and that it launched the drug in January, made a new high, and then just profit takers came in. It's forming this little base here. You can see the consolidation period, and they'll report earnings sometime in May. I'm not sure when. It says May 10th here, but we'll see. And this is probably going to be how this thing trades. It's going to move on news, and it's going to go dormant for a while. And there'll be an earnings report or news that, the drug is doing well or approved in Europe and whatever. And then it'll jump 20% like this. So it's kind of one of those ones you just got to sit in your portfolio if you want to own it, because, you wake up one morning and the thing's up 22%. I mean, nobody could have predicted that, but I do think this thing's going higher and the sales are going to be strong. This is a multiple sclerosis drug that they have, a Briumvi. Anyway, and Novo Nordisk took the day off here. It broke out of a base, just trading sideways here. Made a new high last week, 160.91. Yeah, just pulled back slightly. This stock is a beast. I like looking at the monthly chart because, if you're a patient person, want to hold long term, that thing looks pretty good in your portfolio. It does in mine anyway. SRPT, I don't know why I wrote this thing down. Probably because it gapped higher. Look at this. 159 to 117 in 2 weeks time. That'll give me a heart attack. And now it's traded, and we've seen this a lot. Stocks trading below their 50, people get shaken out, and then it just rips back higher right through the 50. So that's kind of what TGTX did too. I didn't mention that. Traded below the 50, and now it ramped right through it. And that's what you want to see going through the 50 with this volume here. So that's why I showed you SRPT, right? Yeah. The undercut and rally through. So good for SRPT and APLS. I don't know why. Oh, okay. Yeah, they got news last week, gapped higher and it's holding its gains. So good for the longs there. That's APLS, APLS, pharmaceuticals. So that's enough of the drug stocks for tonight. I got to go to the gold. People that dislike gold, but you got to play the hand that's dealt, and gold is working. We had this one on our watch list here. It did not wait very long. It's just ripping higher, making new highs every day. So if you got the Alamos gold, congrats. That thing is strong. AU is just another gold stock that broke out, holding its gains. Yeah, pulled back 16 cents today. Big whoop. That thing is going strong. Gold was on our watch list as well. Still is, I believe, setting up in a base here. Yeah. 2019 is a standard action area. So yeah, good for the gold longs. Anyway, I'm just going to randomly take a look at some stocks here. LNTH is one of our leaders here, and this one just traded down to its 10 EMA and bounced today, almost 3%. So this thing is doing nothing wrong. If you take a look at the weekly, you can see this powerful move that it had, and strong year in 2022, then formed this base, and now it's just been up like 5 or 6 weeks in a row. So Atlanteus is doing nothing wrong. SMCI, let me see here. Yeah, it traded almost down to its 50 last week, got a downgrade, didn't handle it real well. Just traded down to the 50. I guess it closed towards the middle of the daily range. Yeah, right at the middle of the daily range. And today popped right back up to its 10 EMA. So, I just want to point out that this we had this stock last summer around $55, and it was trading nice and tight. You can see the tight action here, and then it starts getting a little wider. You can see the daily bars wider and looser. So there's a lot more indecision now that it's a higher price stock, and it's a late stage base. But as our friend Greg Morton points out, it's just a stair stepper and stepping higher. And so when it's doing, nothing wrong, just goes up, flattens out, goes up, flattens out, goes up, flattens out. And that's how you climb the stairs to higher prices. So until that pattern changes, I mean, it's going to go higher, right? First Solar, this one pulled back. Some people are complaining, oh, First Solar's not doing nothing. It's not doing nothing. Well, it's just taking a breather. It had a breakout and went sideways. It's still, the high is 218.25. It's only $5 away from that. So First Solar is doing nothing wrong. One of our leading stocks. Iridium, this one's on our watch list. It's got the, as Dennis likes to say, the power of three. The moving averages here, like converging there. So that's similar to CROX, by the way. CROX had, traded tight, and the moving averages were all trading within each other, and then it popped today. So maybe Iridium can do the same. We're watching and waiting. And the last one I'm going to cover is AXON. This one just pulled back to its 21 and got support. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We never give up.